AITA for thinking this woman is interested in my husband and not wanting her in my home anymore. Let me preface this by saying, I know I might be anti here, but my spider senses are tingling, and I need to know if I'm actually justified or just overreacting. I have 30, am married to my husband, am 34. A few weekends ago, we met a woman 29F, let's call her Dee Dee, at my husband's friend's HF gathering. Dee Dee spotted my husband, made a beeline over to him, and started chatting. From what I could tell, it was not more than a minute or two, and according to my husband, she spent most of it talking about our son, specifically how he looks just like her son. While she was talking, my husband started inching closer toward where I was sitting. Once he got close enough, I could hear her saying again how her son looks like hers, how cute he is, and how much he resembles my husband, which he does. She eventually noticed me looking in their direction, stopped talking to my husband, comes over, and said, "Oh, you must be his wife." We exchanged pleasantries and she disappeared for the rest of the night. Fast forward to the next weekend. Dee Dee came over to our home with my HF and his lady HVL to pick up a dresser we were gifting them. HF and HVL both said hello to me first and then spoke to my husband. Dee Dee, however, walked straight in and greeted my husband first, complimenting our house and telling him he looked nice today. The man was in basketball shorts and a tee. She asked to use the restroom. HVL showed her where it was. When she came out, my husband and I were sitting on the couch. She looked right at him, then at me, and says, "Oh, I didn't even see you there." Before I could say anything, everyone questioned how she didn't see me, but she gave some BS explanation. Once again, we exchanged basic pleasantries. HF invited my husband to a college football game. Dee Dee immediately chimed in with, "Yeah, you should come." My husband asked HF if there were enough tickets for me and our son too, and HF said yes, so we all planned to go. Before leaving, Dee Dee randomly complimented my husband's eyes. At the game, while waiting for everyone to arrive, I told my husband I felt like Dee Dee was into him. He told me I was being crazy. Everyone shows up, the guys are talking. Dee Dee joins their conversation, while I'm talking with HVL and the kids run around. I told the kids they needed to stay in a certain area because we were in a parking lot. Dee Dee jumps in with, "No one is going to hit them, don't you know who I am?" I told her point blank, "No, I don't." She laughed and tried explaining that she meant the kids know who she is, but I told her I don't care, it's a parking lot. They're kids, and they need to stay in the area I told them. Period. I walk away and start talking to HVL. A few minutes later, my son runs over to play with my husband. Dee Dee starts calling him nephew, telling him to come to her. He ignores her and goes back to playing. She calls again, "Nephew, come here to Auntie Dee Dee. Here's where I might unapologetically be tall." But she poked Mama Bear. I stepped in and asked what she wanted. She said she just wanted to give him a hug. I told her not to be weird, and she needed to stop calling my son nephew as he is not going to be calling her auntie. My kid doesn't assign family labels to strangers. She said she understood and stopped. We go inside the game. My husband, HF, the kids, and I sit down first. HVL sits one row behind us. Dee Dee sits directly behind my husband despite there being plenty of open seats. The next day, I asked my husband what he thought about Dee Dee sitting directly behind him. He admitted he found it weird too, especially since she kept bumping into him. I've told my husband I don't want her back in our home, and he's fine with that. But because she hangs around HF and HVL, she's still going to be around in general. Here's where I'm stuck. On paper, everything I've described could technically be written off as nothing, but I genuinely feel like my instincts aren't wrong. So, AITA for not wanting her in my home, and would I be ta if I pulled her aside and talked to her about what I've noticed?